everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's webinar, Jumpstart Fall Recruiting with JazzHR. My name is Amanda Groves, and I'm on the marketing team here at JazzHR. Before we get started, I just wanted to go through a few housekeeping items with you all. First, we are recording the webinar, and we'll make sure you all get a copy of the slides and the recording of the webinar after it's finished. We'll also be accepting questions throughout the webinar that we'll take at the end, and you can submit those questions in the chat function on your screen at any time. And now it's time to introduce our speaker for today. We're joined by Neb Elliott, Solutions Consultant here at JazzHR. Some fun facts about Neb: he's a huge foodie, avid fan of Netflix, and loves to travel. And with that, I think we're ready to get started. Take it away, Neb.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much, Amanda. How's everybody doing over there? So you guys might be muted, so might not hear me. But yeah, really what I want to go ahead and do today is, talk to you a little bit about JazzHR, who we are, our partnership with Little Bird HR, as well as, walk you through a high-level overview of our recruiting platform and why so many businesses and organizations have chose to partner with us to really empower their recruiting. So really just going through, who is JazzHR? So JazzHR, we are an award-winning recruiting platform. We've been around since 2009, and we're basically, we're the leading provider of recruitment software to growing organizations with over 2,500 customers around the world right now. And during those couple of years, we've helped, thousands of customers hire over 300,000 new hires from 15 million candidates using our recruiting platform. We've got offices out here in Pittsburgh, where Amanda is, and Boston, where I'm out of. And lastly, we've got strong alliances with a number of recruiting and HR partners, including some of the leading candidate sources, including Indeed, Glassdoor, and LinkedIn. So that's a little bit about background about, who JazzHR is. Now into what we actually do and how we can help you out for your recruiting. A couple of different things that I want to show you right here. So through every stage of your recruiting process, we can come in and really help you out, whether it's increasing your job traffic by up to 500% to really just get more qualified candidates, to being able to help you get organized and really get insights into your recruiting process and reducing the time you spend in email, as well as reducing your hiring tasks and really have more of a team-based approach to recruiting, so that the end goal, we can help you cut your time to hire by over 25% and really just help you save time and money in recruiting and really just finding those ideal candidates. So that's how we can really come in and help you at every stage of your recruiting process. And then we do back that up with our leading support and onboarding. So we've got dedicated onboarding and setup services. We provide unlimited support, US-based, and ongoing education. So you'll see continuous training webinars and resources offered by our marketing and by our team over here, as well as having a task-based system designed for really team success. Because we believe in this day and age, the more collaborative you are with your recruiting, the better hires you're able to make, and we help you do that, along with having world-class renewal rates. So with our renewal rates, we're actually at 91% year over year, which is quite high and very unique. Not a lot of software companies can say they have that type of retention. And the simple reason being is that our product works for HR and recruiting teams, and it really helps them save time and money. So that's a little bit about background about who JazzHR is and how we're able to really help you guys out. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to walk you through a high-level overview of JazzHR, the user interface, and the major features and functionality. And then after everything, we'll leave it open for some Q&A at the end. So give me 1 second as I bring up my screen over there. And then you should be able to see my screen right there. And then Amanda, do you see that there as well?
Yep, looks perfect.
All right. Perfect. So this is your dashboard. So this is what you see when you first log into JazzHR. So up top is your navigation. So jobs is where you'd go to create, edit, manage jobs. candidates is where you would go to manage your entire candidate pool because, yes, it's important to recruit for a position you might have open, but it's also important to build a pipeline of future candidates as you have more positions coming down throughout the year. Reports is where you can run different type of reporting and analytics to really help you optimize your recruiting process. And then settings are exactly what settings are, where you can control your account and administrative settings, as well as different templates that you can reuse throughout your recruiting process and be able to customize your career pages as well. So down here, when you look a little bit down where my cursor is, my open jobs, any open jobs that you're a part of the hiring team are going to show up right here. And right to the right, you can see a quick tally of total candidates, how many are new, how many are active as they go through the screening process and the interview process, and then how many got hired. If I scroll down a little bit, my interviews are any interviews that you are a part of that are scheduled, which show up right here. So we do have Outlook integration as well as Google Calendar integration. So if you're using one of those systems, you can actually schedule interviews right within JazzHR, as well as be able to pull up other calendars for users internally so you can see their availability and when they're busy. On the right side right here, my watch list is going to be any jobs or candidates you want to keep top of mind. You can actually add them to your watch list. A simple way to think of that is as your priority list. My inbox below that is going to be any email communication you have with candidates. We can sync it both ways. So whether you're using Outlook or Gmail, you can actually have all that communication with candidates right within the system so that everything is in one place and you're not jumping between different systems, which gives you the chance to actually, for things to fall through the cracks. And then my tasks is basically your task list to help you stay organized and keep track of everything that needs to get done. So that is the dashboard in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at jobs, the jobs section, because typically, one of the first stages of recruiting is that you're going to have open positions to fill. So this is going to be your overall jobs view. If I click on this drop-down arrow right here, I can actually filter it out by the status of the position. I can also sort by clicking on the headers. And I can search for a specific job using the magnifying glass. And I can search by a number of attributes right here. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's jump into one of the positions so you can see what the dashboard for that position looks like, as well as the process of creating a new position and posting it across different job boards. So if I click on the account executive role right here, it's going to bring me into this dashboard. So up top, once again, I get a quick glance at how many total candidates I have and how many are at each stage. Below that, I actually have it broken down into different stages in reverse order. The thinking being that the further along they are in the interview process, the more important they are to you. If I were to click on any of their names, it goes right into the candidate profiles, which I'll show you as we look at the candidates section. So on the right side, you'll see a couple other information about the job, as well as any watch candidates and any upcoming interviews or tasks for that position. So let's go ahead and let's see what the process is like to create a new job. For the sake of saving time, I'm just going to hit Edit Job, but it's the exact same process. So a couple steps to creating a job and really posting it out there. One is that you describe the basics of the job. So the job title, the description, experience level, employment type, and then the actual description is right here, where you can actually customize, the responsibilities, the requirements, the benefits, and anything else you want to add regarding that specific position. You can also reuse job templates so you're not starting from scratch. Under location right here is where you'd add where the actual position is located, sensitive data. Any data right here you see is for internal use only, so administrators can see that, and then you can give visibility to other users as well. So salary range, EEO classification for compliance reporting, as well as any internal notes. And then lastly, under exposure. So this is how we're going to help you increase your job traffic by up to 500%. We're going to help you cast a wide net to get as many qualified applicants as possible. And we do that in two different ways. One, we're going to syndicate this job, meaning that with this toggle right here, we can actually post this job across 13 different free job boards all at once for you, helping you save time and energy instead of going manually to do it one by one. Second, we can help you integrate it into your career section of your website if you have one. If you don't have a career section, we can actually host a career board for you, and I can show you a couple of quick examples of what that looks like as well. So if we were to take a look under advertising over here, here's the free job boards we do publish to. So Indeed, LinkedIn Limited, Glassdoor, the Muse, CareerJet, as well as some other ones right here. We can help you post across your social media networks as well. And then if you guys do utilize paid job boards such as Career Builder, Monster, Snag-a-Job, or Beyond Network, we do integrate with them right here. So these ones, they do have a cost associated with them, but it is the standard cost that job boards charge. But it's there as a matter of convenience, so once again, you're not going to that site to manually create that job. And then if you had any other third-party sites that you post jobs to, whether it's specific regional job boards or career-oriented job boards, you can actually create a custom link right here so that you can track the source. So an example of this would be, let's just say, for instance, if you use Craigslist, you can name it Craigslist, and you can just use this custom link for that posting on Craigslist. So that when folks find the position on Craigslist and they apply, JazzHR knows that they're coming from Craigslist, so it's going to show you that data on the candidate profile as well as the different reports you'll run. So moving forward from there, under application is where you would customize the actual application that candidates would fill out. So it's broken out into two sections. The first one right here, the job application, think of it as your general job application you'd have folks that are interested in the position fill out. So once again, it can be super simple or it can be pretty robust as far as the data you're collecting. So to add questions, I'd simply click on the pencil icon, and you can see a number of standard questions that we've built in over here. So it's super simple to add questions. I can simply check the boxes I want to add, or I can uncheck them to remove them, and I can make any of them mandatory or optional right here as well. And I would just hit Save Changes. Now, if I wanted to add custom questions, I can also do that as well. So first, you ask, why would you want to add custom questions? One being that, some positions do require you ask some specific questions. In this example right here, the account executive role would be like a sales-related role. So you want to ask some basic questions around their sales experience to help you sort of pre-screen the candidates so you can use your time efficiently. So in this one, you can see it's asking some sales-specific questions like, what is your preferred sales CRM? In the educational field, depending on the role, you might have certain positions that require a certain level of certification or education. So you can actually build in those questions there, and then you can set up any of them to be what's known as a knockout question. And you'll see that with the little flag here. What a knockout question simply is that you can set up a question to knock out or disqualify a candidate based on how they answered. So if one of the questions was, do you have a bachelor's degree, and you set that up as a knockout question, if they answered no, the system can either A, flag them for review, or B, automatically reject them, send them a rejection email, and then they disappear from your view so that you don't actually have to spend any time taking a look at their resume because they're not even qualified for the basics. And then with these screening questionnaires, like I mentioned, you can either build it into the actual initial application, or you can send it out after the fact in a different stage later on. And then as we sort of wrap it up right here, a couple other tabs. Workflow is basically where you can just simply define the different hiring stages that candidates would go through in your process. So internally, I'm sure you already have that, whether it's written down or whether you just sort of have it, by memory if you're the only one doing the recruiting over there. In this example, we've got a screening, interview, and so on stages, fully customizable, so you can remove stages, you can add different stages, you can rename them. And the ability for this is that you can actually get insight into where every applicant is with a quick glance, but you can also set up something called a trigger, which is known as a workflow helper, to help you automate some of the busy work that it comes to recruiting. So in this example, when there's a new applicant, it's going to send them an email automatically thanking them for applying for that position and letting them know you'll be in touch if you feel there's a match, which is something that improves the candidate experience and one of the best practices. Now, if you had to do that manually, and let's just say you got 50 resumes for a position, that's 50 manual emails you'd have to send out. That's a lot of tedious, busy work. But if you can eliminate that so the system can automate that for you, think about the time savings you have there, and you can actually focus your time on more important tasks. In the screening stage, you can see we have a couple triggers. So if you advance a candidate to screening stage, it'll send them an email saying, hey, Stacy, we feel like you might be a great fit. Send us sometimes you're available for a phone screening. It'll also create a task to schedule the phone screening, and you can assign it to any hiring team member. And then it'll also send the candidate a questionnaire, a pre-phone screen questionnaire. Once again, these are fully customizable at the job level, and you can use templates. And you can even have stages for not hired stages right here with triggers. And then lastly, to round it out, under team is where you can add and remove folks that's going to be part of that hiring team for that position. Because you might not want to have everybody that's using JazzHR to see all the open positions. So this way you can restrict it by department or restrict it to certain individuals. So that's a little bit of the overview of the job creation process. Going back over here, a couple of things I want to just touch on is that I will show you an example of what that application looks like that we customized. So this is it right here. So Jamba Software is our demo account. So we've got the logo, the branding right here. The actual job information is going to be right here. On the right side is the application. So I could apply with LinkedIn, I could apply with Indeed, or I could simply apply by filling this out right here. Now this is a little bit long and extensive, but just to show you how robust it could be. And then once I'm done, I can just hit Submit Application. You'll get an email notification with the resume. They'll go into your candidate pool, and that candidate will get that automatic email thanking them for applying. One thing on this is that this is mobile friendly, so whether you're using a smartphone, a tablet, or a desktop, this can be filled out from any device right here, which helps you out when you're looking to attract the millennials as well, as they're always on the go. So this is an example of what the job application looks like. This is a career page we can host for you. So pretty basic. It has your branding. It can have your logo, any information about the organization right here, and all the open positions right here. If you wanted to do something a little bit nicer, you can actually customize it, and I'll show you an example of a company like Superfly. So they've got great careers page right here, and then all the positions load right here. I can click on it to learn more, and then I can hit Apply Now, and it goes right to the application. So once again, it can be as simple as you want it to be, or it can be as sophisticated as you want it to be. There's many other examples that we'd be more than happy to share if you had questions around that later on as well. Right here under Analyze, it's going to give you a quick traffic and pipeline chart of that position. So it shows you how many views the job got, as well as how many applicants and which sources drove the most applicants right here. So once again, really designed to just give you insights around the job. So that's sort of the jobs portion and the high-level overview. Moving to the candidates area right now, this is where you can manage your entire candidate pool. So you'll see that you can actually sort them by their status or the position or their actual name. If I wanted to really narrow it down and search, I can click the magnifying glass right here. And so I can search by name. I can search by any keywords in their resume with full resume parsing. I can search for everybody that's applied for a specific position. I can also search by any status they're in, as well as categories. And categories are a great way to basically tag and label different subgroups so that you can search by it later on. If I wanted to do a little bit more extensive searching, I can click on Advanced Search, and I can search by any filter in their or data field in their profile, as you can see with this list right here. So quite an extensive list, and there's some pretty advanced searching you can do as well. If you have any questions around that later on, more than happy to answer that. So let's take a look and see what the actual candidate profile looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and click into Sarah Johnson. She is a new applicant, as you can see by her status. So I click on Sarah Johnson, and it's going to load her entire profile right here. So up top, you'll see her contact information. Right below that, her resume displayed exactly the way she formatted it. And I can print, download, or forward her resume right from this screen. If I scroll down a little bit, her cover letter is right there, as well as that actual job application she filled out online. And I can go ahead and print that out if I need a paper copy. And then right below it, you've got some other data fields as well. So when she applied, where she came from, and if anybody referred her, who referred her. And then I can go ahead and I can export the candidate, and I can bring her into my payroll or HRIS system as well from here. Up top, if I scroll back up, on the right side, you'll see tasks, events, questionnaires, or documents. So anything associated with that candidate would all live on the right side right here. One-click access. Categories, like I mentioned earlier, great way to subgroup candidates. So I can add categories. I can remove categories as well. And then other jobs are basically any of the jobs they've applied to would show up right here, or I can manually add them to a job myself. So that is the candidate profile overview. Up top right here is actually how you would move the candidate between different stages in your recruiting process. If I took a look at Sarah and I said, no, she doesn't seem like a good fit, I can go ahead and just move it to a not hired status, a rejection status, and I can add an optional comment as well. If I say, hey, you know what, she's a great fit, let's get on the phone, let's connect with her a little bit more, let's learn more, I can click on Advance, and I can actually move her to different stages that I've customized when I created the job. So if I move her to the screening stage, that workflow trigger pops up right here, like we talked about. So it'll send her the email asking for time she's available for a phone screening. It'll send her the questionnaire, and it'll also create a task to schedule the phone screening. And I would just confirm the status change. And so now she would be in a screening stage, and those triggers that we set up would go ahead and execute those tasks. So that is, and then up here, right here, you're going to see a couple of different tabs to sort of navigate a little bit more in depth with the candidates. So I'm actually going to go ahead and close out Sarah Johnson and pull up a different candidate that's a little bit further along in the process. So let's take a look at Angie. She is in the interview stage for one of the other positions. So let me go ahead and click on that. So right here, you can see she's active. So I'll touch on these different tabs right here a little bit. So under interviews, a couple of things you can do here. One, you could set up interview guides. And what interview guides basically are preset interview questions that you want the interviewer to ask, and they can take notes as they go through the interview. So this is one example of an interview guide. So some very specific interview questions. So this can be as specific as you want, or it can be more general and broad-based. And it's really just designed to help you guys get more detailed feedback on the actual interview and how the candidate responded. So if I was an interviewer and I started the interview, I can just go ahead and open up this interview guide right from my email or within JazzHR. And so this is how I can go about it, taking notes on those interview questions right here. If I want to see the candidate's resume, I can click on View Resume. I can view job details right here. And as I'm taking notes on how the candidate answered those questions, I can actually rate the quality of their answer, and I would just hit Save right here for each question. I can go ahead and add questions on the fly as well as I'm going through the interview. And once I'm done, I can just say complete interview, and I can say whether they passed or failed the interview, and I can notify other team members about that feedback as well so they can take a look at that. So really a great way to share that feedback and have more of a team-based approach to recruiting. So if I go back here, so the other thing you can do in the interviews tab is that you can actually go ahead and schedule interviews within JazzHR. So one of the challenges when you're scheduling interviews is that you might not know when that hiring manager or whoever is doing the interview is actually free, especially if it's involving multiple folks. So I can go here and actually pull up their calendars. So if I go ahead here and I say, Kathy's going to be a part of the interview. Let's take a look. Jeff is also part of the interview. And let's take a look and say Lawrence. So I can select their calendars. And then I can just hit Show Calendars, and it's going to pull up everybody's calendar right here. And I can see when everybody's free and when they're available. So it looks like, Jeff's pretty busy. Lawrence is a little bit busy as well, but it's letting me know right here. It suggests, 2:33, everybody's available. So I can go ahead and just drag and drop for that time, and I can hit Schedule Interview. And it's going to send everybody a calendar invite so that it can show up on their calendar along with the details, and then I can just share the agenda with the actual candidate right here. So really designed to help you streamline that scheduling of interviews and take away those pain points you might have. And you can have multiple stages here as well. Under discussion is where you can actually have back and forth commentary on this candidate, and you can also see when they get moved between different stages. So once again, designed to really enhance collaboration, have more of a team-based approach to recruiting. So if you've ever used social media like Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, same concept. You can mention users, and they'll get a notification on your comment or question. And they can just reply to the email notification they got. They don't even need to open JazzHR to respond. And you can limit the visibility of that comment as well. Under assessments is basically where you can have assessments and evaluations. So role match is really just quickly a way to have candidate scorecards. So you basically set up the criteria for the ideal hire for that position. So you can use any combination of soft skills, hard skills, personality traits, or experience level. And as each interviewer completes the interview, they can actually just complete the scorecard on how they thought the interviewee corresponded to the criteria. So thumbs up, thumbs down, or a caution sign. And then evaluations, if you look down a little bit down here, is a way to have a little bit more detailed assessment. And so that's a way to really just quantify some of the assessments you're looking for. And so you can set up the different units of measurement, and you can change the weighing of the score. And what will happen is, as each interviewer fills out the evaluation, JazzHR will automatically calculate a score for you so that it makes comparing candidates to each other easier than ever. And then we do have integration with some third-party assessment tools as well. HackerRank for coding challenges, Sterling, Good Hire, and Acuron for background check drug screenings, and Spark Hire for video interviewing. Under the emails tab right here is where you have that email communication back and forth with the candidate right here. So I can go right here and I can reply to candidates manually. I can attach files. I can even use different templates as well. So once again, everything lives in one place, so you're not jumping between different systems and creating an opportunity where things can fall between the cracks. And then lastly, under documents is any documents you want to associate with the candidate would live right here. So you can actually create and customize offer letters to send out electronically, as well as any onboarding paperwork you want them to fill out electronically. So think of, W-4s, payroll direct deposit forms, medical enrollment forms. You can have it all right here, send it to them electronically, they can fill it out electronically, and it comes back and lives right within their candidate profile. So you can take care of that entire onboarding paperwork before the very first day they come in. So this is sort of, the candidate profile screen in a nutshell. Couple other things is that, we have bulk actions. Bulk actions are where you can take action on multiple candidates all at once. So whether you want to send a mass rejection email, or you want to send a mass email introducing candidates to a new job, or you want to add them to a new job all at once, you can do that here, helping you save time so you're not doing it manually one by one. Under the reports right here is where you can run different types of analytics and reports if that's something that is crucial for you. So we built a ton of standard reports that, that are pretty popular. Source quality reports, you can filter it down as well. Application conversion reports, hiring pipeline reports, interview reports, time to fill, time to hire reports, and then candidate reports like questionnaires and answers, as well as evaluation ratings, and then compliance reports. So EEO compliance reporting as well as affirmative action. And then you can build your own custom report as well using any of these data fields, as you can see right here. So if you're into reporting analytics, definitely you'll have a lot of fun there. You can really get some good insights into your recruiting process there. And then lastly, under the settings tab is where you can have different templates. So you've got, questionnaire templates right here. So these are basically custom job application questions, interview guide templates, so questions that you want to be recorded during the interview processes, evaluation templates, email templates, as well as documents and categories. Under people is where you can actually add and remove different users of the system. And that's one of the great things about JazzHR is that it's designed to scale with you because we give you access to unlimited users, whereas a lot of other systems, they're going to charge you per user per license. So if you grow and you need to add a couple more folks to have access, your costs are going to increase. But that's not going to happen with JazzHR. Your costs remain fixed. So that is, JazzHR really in a high-level overview. Of course, there's a lot more functionality available as your needs are there. But aside from that, really, I think the only other thing that we need to touch on is really just some of the plan options available. Am I missing anything else, Amanda?
No, I think that was a great overview.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just slightly touch on the plan options, and then we'll open it up for Q&A over there as well. So let me just bring this over right here. And so can you see the different plans on your screen, Amanda?
Yes. Yep.
All right, perfect. So let me just make it a bigger so everybody can see. So through Little Bird and our partnership with them, JazzHR, we've got some great plans, some great pricing available as well. So one thing to keep in mind is that these plan options actually are all-inclusive, meaning that you get unlimited users, unlimited jobs, and unlimited candidates, and unlimited support, and there's no setup fees as well. So the difference in pricing really comes down to the feature set that you need. So some of our most popular plans are the Plus and the Pro. The Plus, what that's going to give you is that it's going to give you the entire job postings and syndication, which means that you can go ahead and you can create jobs, you can post it, have online applications, it'll publish it to the job boards, as well as a careers page for you. The applicant tracking system, so having a searchable resume database, customizable workflow stages, that workflow automation, as well as bulk actions. And then lastly, interviews and assessments, so the ability to schedule interviews within JazzHR, as well as have interview guides and get that detailed feedback through the interview process, and evaluations and assessments. And so with the Plus, that typically goes for $229 a month on a monthly subscription fee. We do offer some discounted pricing with an annual subscription. And so if you say, hey, you know what, this sounds great, let's do it for a year, it actually comes out to right under $2,400 for the year. And so you can either pay that up front or you can pay that monthly as well at $195 a month. It's just the difference is that it's a 12-month agreement. And then the Pro has everything that I showed you right here. So it's got everything the Plus has in addition to electronic offer letters and e-signatures on any documents, as well as reporting and compliance. And that goes for $359 a month on a monthly subscription, or a little bit under $3,700 for the year on an annual agreement. So really, it just really comes down to the feature set that you need. But like I said, the pricing is probably one of the most competitive aspects when you look feature for feature with a lot of other systems. And at the end of the day, we're really here to make sure that you're as successful as possible. Because if you're successful and we help you save time and you love JazzHR, guess what? You're probably going to tell other folks, and they're going to want to sign up for JazzHR. So it's a win-win for everybody there. So with that being said, that is the high-level overview of JazzHR. So I guess at this point we can open it up for if there's any questions. Amanda.
Yeah, so a few came through during the presentation. So the first one, let's see here. So Neb, someone asked, what does the implementation process look like, or how long does that take?
Sure. So implementation process is actually, it's relatively quick. And so there are a couple of variables as far as your comfort level that's going to take with the software. So let's just say, hey, you say, hey, I'm ready to get started with JazzHR. What does that look like? That process looks like. So, we get everything together, we get the agreement, and as soon as that's filled out, we can literally activate the account within 15 minutes. And so you can actually just jump in there and start playing around with it. And then we've got a great onboarding process. So the onboarding is that we've got a pre-recorded webinar that's going to get you comfortable with the basics, the administrative settings. And then after that, one of our customer success managers would reach out for a training/onboarding call with either yourself or your hiring team or whoever else is going to be using the software. And then if you feel like you need a little bit more help, then there's additional webinars that are pre-recorded that you can watch, as well as you can set up training calls with customer success for other users or sort of a follow-up training calls. So realistically, depending on your comfort level, you can get onboarded, within a matter of days to, a week or two at the most.
Okay, great. Another question came through too. So can you please speak a little bit about the post account? So that wasn't covered in the pricing comparison. So can you just talk a little bit about that in case some of our customers or clients on the call might be interested in that plan?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me actually pull that up for you guys. Give me 1 second right there. So the post is going to be something that's a little bit more entry level. So let me pull it up right here. So with the post, basically what it does is that similar to what I showed you with the Plus, is that it's going to give you the job postings and syndication. So with that, you're going to have the ability to create jobs, post jobs across the job boards, as well as your careers page. And then you're going to have some basic screening functionality as well. So by basic screening functionality, you'll have a searchable resume database. You'll have customizable workflow stages. But the difference is that there's not going to be any workflow automation. So as far as being able to auto-send emails or auto-create tasks and different things like that. But it's really a good way to showcase your organization's culture, screen resumes from anywhere. So you can actually even screen resumes on the go or on your mobile device. And then you can actually, as well as you can have job-specific recruiting teams and be able to sync your emails as well. And then we do provide, actually I've got it right here, so let me pull it over for you.
Okay, so I got a little bit of your information. What was your last name?
Right here. So right here, this is actually all the features that includes. So you can post jobs online. You can start hiring in minutes. So this actually has a feature breakdown right here. So mobile-friendly job board, customizable job applications, post jobs to free job boards, purchase premium paid job listings, new candidate email alerts, resume uploader, full resume parsing, searchable resume database. And so this goes for $29 a month on your annual subscription, and that gives you 3 open jobs per month. Any additional jobs would be an additional $9. But it does provide, unlimited user accounts and unlimited resume storage.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks so much, Neb. So a few other questions have come through. So the interview scheduling feature, it looks super easy to use, but how much work and time does it actually take to set up?
So it actually doesn't take up that much time. So what you'd simply do is when you first get started with JazzHR, you'd simply add the other users who's going to be using the system. And then once they verify their email and they log in, they can actually just go ahead and integrate their Outlook calendar or their Google calendar right from the settings tab.
Okay.
And so it's basically, you're giving JazzHR permission to view your calendar and to be able to, edit and manage events on your calendar. And so you do it one time, and then they're always going to have access to the calendars and the interview scheduling.
Okay, awesome, cool. And a few more here. So the more advanced customized career page that you showed, is that an additional cost, or can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the advanced customized careers page is not an additional cost. That's built into all the different plan options. It's really just depending on what you want to use for your branding. If you wanted to do a little bit more advanced careers page, we do provide job widgets. So let's just say you want the jobs to automatically load on your website. You don't want folks to leave your website. You can just copy a couple lines of code from the settings on the job board. You paste it into your careers page, and it'll automatically load the actual jobs right there. If you want to get, super fancy and you want to do some real customization, as long as you know some HTML or CSS, you can actually change the actual formatting and layout as well too. And we do provide help documentation, and that's something that if you have specific questions around, during the onboarding process, they can show you, different examples as well and what can be done.
Awesome. Thanks, Neb. One more question here. So what limits the free syndication of job posting? For example, there was a yellow exclamation mark icon when you were going through that page. Yep,
absolutely. So great question. So a couple of different things. So depending on the actual job board, each one, so let me go ahead and just share my screen so you can see what that looks like. So if I go over here, so the great thing about JazzHR is throughout a lot of the system, you can actually hover over this and it's going to give you some information about it. So right here, for instance, on LinkedIn, it's telling you that, it's LinkedIn limited, so it is their free job board. So it's letting you know that it's only going to be found by candidates searching for jobs on LinkedIn. So they would actually have to be logged into LinkedIn and searching for jobs. So if you've ever looked for jobs on LinkedIn, there's a couple of differences. If you search for specific positions, it would show up there. Now, once you apply for a position or job suggestions LinkedIn provides, that is not going to show up there. And then if you do the sponsored LinkedIn listings, that's what's going to really enhance the visibility of it. In this example right here, this shows you that they only post jobs that are located in Canada. So if your job's not in Canada, you don't need to worry about that. And so as you hover over, each one just sort of shows you a little bit of the restrictions and what it actually means, the caution sign.
Okay. Perfect. All right, so I think that wraps up all of our questions, and we are also nearing the end of our session for today. So Neb, thanks so much for being on the line with us and sharing all of your tips and knowledge about JazzHR, and thank you to everyone who is here with us on the line today. We'll be following up with the slides and the recording later on today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your afternoon. Thanks so much.
Same here. Thanks, Joanna. Thanks, Amanda, and everybody have a great rest of your day.